everybody. Thanks for joining me in this curriculum review of Mission Lasting Liberty. This is by Brandy Ferrell over at Half a Hundred Acre Wood. Thank you, Brandy, for sending me this teacher's guide. If you've been around my channel for a while, you'll know that the past 2 years we have used her Mission Faith Forgers and Mission World Wonders books, and they've been fantastic. So she gives you, and will be linked below, a list of all of the books that you need to go along with this curriculum. And once you purchase those, the only other things that you have to purchase are your math curriculum and your English grammar. So you get to make those choices yourself on what you want to use, because we all have our thoughts and opinions on that. So I love that she leaves that up to us. But this is the main curriculum that you will need. I mean, it's the only thing that you will need. All the books that are listed in this for your Bible, for your history, science, art, everything, music. I mean, it's an all-inclusive curriculum. So I want to give you a quick little sneak peek inside at week 1, and just to show you how easy the layout is. So everything's listed down the side. It has the days of the week. It is set up as a 4-day week, which I really appreciate, especially because I am a part of Classical Conversations. You don't have to be a part of Classical Conversations in order to do this. It is a standalone curriculum. However, it integrates so seamlessly, and we are in cycle 3 this year for Classical Conversations, which is American history. So it works out great. So it's a very easy format. She even leaves space down here for you to put in your math and English curriculum. It's so easy. It is like foolproof. I love it. And she has thought of everything, because at the very beginning of the book, it talks about each of those sections that I just showed you. And she talks about why she has chosen them, why it's important to do it in your homeschool. It's really a fantastic read. I just enjoy reading through the guide itself. But she talks about how scripture memory and how prayer is so important in your school, and reading the Bible to your kids. And then one of the books that goes along with the Bible time is this book called Then Sings My Soul. It's actually included in the previous 2 curricula as well that she's written. So I really appreciate that when books overlap. But this is a great book because it has the hymn on one side. So if you're a piano player of any sort, you can plunk that out. And then on this side, it tells a brief history of the author of the hymn or how the hymn came into existence. So I really, really like this book. It's beautifully bound. It has kind of the unfinished edges, the raw edges. I really like it. It's a beautiful book, and we have really enjoyed using it in our homeschool. And then she has a whole section on memory work. If you're a part of Classical Conversations, of course, we have our own memory work, but she says you can use parts of, she gives suggestions on how to use some of this curriculum for memory work, but then also you can just choose your own memory work if you want to add that in. And then we move on to geography, which is so much fun. I used to not really care for geography, and now that I actually know where a few places are in the world, I'm like, I kind of like knowing that. Like when I hear on the news that something happened in a kind of obscure country like Kazakhstan or whatever, I was like, oh, I kind of like that. Well, Kazakhstan used to be obscure to me. Anyways, but I love hearing that and actually knowing where it is. So I love geography now. And she has several books that are that you use with the geography section. So I'm getting to that right now. And I don't have the desk atlas of the United States, but you can find that in the link below. You will find all of the books listed for this curriculum. And then there's also a States and Capitals audio memory CD. And that is also something I don't have because we have that with Classical Conversations. But there is a Draw the USA book. It is a fantastic book. I have to show you inside of it a little bit. So what it does is it starts very simply with a little box. And then that box turns into 2 states, and then it adds Maine on. And it just adds one state after another until eventually it gets to be the whole United States. And it is so fantastic because, and it even shows you kind of how big Alaska should be and all of those things. And it's just so great because I will say, I don't think I was ever, I didn't know how hard it would be to draw the United States until last year. My son had to draw it, and I was like, oh, it's fine. But then if you have to draw it in regards to the world and all this, it's very difficult. So this book is amazing. It's such a great thing to just teach your kids how to draw the states. It's great artistic practice, and it's great practice for geography. They will learn which state goes next to the other state, because let's be honest, some of us still struggle with that, right? Especially if it's not in an area of the United States where you live. So I really, really like that book. I can't say enough about it. It's amazing. And then moving on to science, we get to talk about some really fun books this year. There are also teacher guides that go along with these books, but we are studying the human body this year. And this one's Chemistry and Ecology, the Properties of Matter book, which my oldest son, who's going to be in 8th grade, he's really excited about these because especially this one, he really likes anything to do with chemistry. So we are going to be studying that this year. And I love these books. We actually use this same, it's God's Design, but it is, let's see here. Let me look and see who it's actually by. Answers in Genesis. We used the same Answers in Genesis science books last year. Of course, they were different topics, but I really, really like them. And they are for 3rd through 8th grade, which fits my needs perfectly. But I would just say last year I had, 2nd through 7th, and it was perfect. It was really, really perfect. So I love the science that she has chosen for this curriculum. There's also a Make Your Own Human Bodies template that will be listed with the curriculum below as well, and that would be really, really fun to do with your kids. And then we move on to art, music, all of the fun things that go along with those. And these books are included. I love these books, The Draw Right Now. She includes book 5, book 3. Yes, those are the 2 books for this year, but it is so great. I love how, when appropriate, she adds in things that really have to do with the U.S. and, with American history. So it shows you in detail how to draw the American flag. It even has some copy work to go along with it if you choose to do that. But it's a great book, and it's really quite fun. You learn how to draw a log cabin. It's just a really fun way to kind of start your morning. That's when we used it. We just kind of woke ourselves up after breakfast by drawing a little bit, and it was kind of great. And then I realized I thought I had the right book, and I realized I don't. So it's The Story of the Orchestra. That is not the correct one. It's purple, and it's called The Introduction, A Child's Introduction to the Orchestra. So I'm showing you the incorrect book, so I apologize about that. But that was a great book. We used that the last two curricula that we used by her, the Mission Faith Forgers and the Mission World Wonders, and my kids really enjoyed listening to it, and it was a real quick, easy read, but it was about all the instruments. It was really fun. So I'm looking forward to getting the child's introduction to the orchestra. Now we move on to history, and I'm so excited about the books that she chose. So it's America's Story number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I'm really excited about all of these. They are just packed with information and great illustrations and photographs and things like that. So I cannot wait to dive into those and read those with my kids. And then there's another book, don't know much about the presidents. This one looks really fun. Oh, I love it. That one will definitely keep my kids entertained. And then Our Constitution Rocks. I'm really excited about reading this one because I think it's just going to be a fun, informative way to learn what the Constitution says, and just kind of, empowers youth, honestly, to know what their country is all about and what it was founded on. So I'm really excited about that book as well. And then I would be remiss not to mention the back of this book. The appendix to the teacher's guide is like a gold mine. It is amazing. And I'm not going to show you all of it just because I would ruin it. But I will tell you, there are so many things that she includes that you could add to your history study. So many amazing things. You don't have to do all of it, but you can choose, and she has just so many great choices. She has like a timeline, a family tree. She has, oh my goodness, a history portfolio where you can put all of those things into. She has a timeline notebook, narration, poetry, all kinds of things included in the back. And I mean, It's pages and pages and pages of amazing maps. Like the Gettysburg Address is back there. There's some poetry. She has a lot of middle school options added in. So she's gone to a lot of extra work to try and implement, you know, older kids into the program. There's an amazing amount of things in the back. My favorite probably being, and what actually attracted me to Half a Hundred Acre Wood in the first place many, many years ago, is she includes book lists in the back in the appendix. And I'm talking like picture books all the way to leveled readers to any age group. She has a list in the back for you, and it's all regarding American history. I love it. And you know, because it's a new curriculum, they're all up to date. I plan on using that a lot. So I'm so excited about that. And that brings us to, last but not least, our Read-Alouds. And I will tell you, this might be something, I don't know, that I would have been tempted to skip the first year. If I was like, oh, we got through everything else, we're going to skip the Read-Aloud. I would highly suggest that you don't, because the Read-Alouds that she has chosen are just moving, and they're about heroes, and they're about heroes of the faith, and that is just something that our kids need to aspire to. They need to have a hero, and they need to have a hero who has good character. And so it's just amazing. I can't tell you enough how much I would highly suggest that you do the Read-Alouds. I mean, they were life-changing for our family, I feel like. Now, this isn't one that we actually read this year, but these are the Christian Heroes Then and Now series. They're also referred to as YWAM books, but we don't do C.S. Lewis. However, I do all of them on audiobook. Like, my brain and my voice is usually tired by the end of the day, and that's when we do our Read-Alouds. Sometimes even before bedtime, occasionally over lunch while we're eating, but I want to eat with my kids. I don't want to just like tire my voice out. So we do them all on audiobook, and it's fantastic. Okay, that wraps up the curriculum review for Mission Lasting Liberty, but I would be remiss not to show you this. So Brandy also sent me this book. It is Script and Scribe, which is her family's cursive copywork and their own company. And so this one is Explore America Through Poetry and Art Study. And this one is so cool. So basically, I mean, there's so much packed in. It's not just like, oh, this is just a copy workbook. No, it is so amazing. So I will tell you, there is a picture study. So there's a beautiful color picture on one page, and it tells you like what questions to ask your kids. Like, what do you notice first? Can you describe what might be happening? Things like that. So takes all the guesswork out. It's all right there for you. And then on the other page, this one's different. Not all of them are up and down like this. It has some copy work, but not only is it copy work, it's some English grammar too. Like, a noun names a person, place, thing, activity, or idea. Find, trace, and copy the nouns. So then it lists some nouns, and then an adjective, and all these good things. So I love that. That's one day. And then on the next day, it has poetry. And the poetry is then there for you to read with your kids. And then there's some more copy work. And so just to give you an idea of maybe what grades you think this would be for your kids, I'll show you. And of course you could split it up over a couple of days if you wanted, but it's pretty long. So I love this. I'm going to use this probably with my 5th grader because he's still working on his cursive copy work. So I love that. I love that it's integrated into American history. So make sure and check out her Script and Scribe cursive copy work, the Americana, the Exploring America Through Poetry and Art Study. So thank you so much, Brandy, for sending that to me. Thank you for writing this fantastic curriculum. Thank you for doing so much work so I don't have to. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys will leave any questions that you have in the comments below, and Brandy and I will try and get to those. But I hope you all have a wonderful school year, and I will talk to you later.